The stage, the background, Mario, and a Goomba. That's a classic way a Mario game starts like. The first enemy is most likely a Goomba. A Goomba and a Goomba. Oh hey, look, a Goomba. But what about the last enemy? No, I don't talk about the final boss. I'll talk about the last enemy that appears before the final boss fight. So who is Bowser's last soldier that tries to protect his king from us? So, let's take a look. Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. Literally consists only of like a handful of different enemies. So the last enemy won't be a big surprise, right? In the last couple seconds of the game, there is a very surprising enemy for a final level though, and it's almost the last one. And it would have been ridiculous. Do you remember the underwater section in the castle? And because of that, we got a blooper in here. But he's sadly not the last enemy. And there's this piranha plant right here, but no, also not the last one. It's actually this hammer bro right here, and let's be honest, he probably gave me more struggles playing that game than the actual final boss. Well, and there's this lava bubble right here. And with that, we already run into a little problem. Cause do we count lava bubbles as enemies in the first Super Mario game? Obviously, later on in the series, there are definitely enemies and do have their own unique design, but here, they don't even got eyes and don't seem like they do have a lot of own personality, so are they an obstacle or an enemy? What would y'all say? Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels. The last enemy of World 8 is a Buzzy Beetle. It was almost Bowser's brother. Yes, that's a thing. But no, Buzzy Beetle it is. Also with this game, I want to talk about the last level of the bonus worlds, cause it's actually the exact same lineup that already tried to stop us in the last game. A blooper, this time flying in the air. I mean, the sky is classic territory for squids anyways. A piranha plant and a hammer bro. And take a guess what happens then. Thank you for changing it up, Nintendo, and thank you for being that creative. Legends. Super Mario Bros. 2. For the final stage of Super Mario Bros. 2, they actually go all out with the last few enemies. First off, the entire level is already brutal. Then Phanto teams up with Birdo to fight against us, and then the last enemy appears. Where is it, you might ask? Well, it's right there. The Mask Gate. The Mask Gate does betray us after helping us to get to the next stage the entire game, and that's the stuff why I have trust issues nowadays. For real. Thank you for nothing. Super Mario Bros. 3. The last living enemy in Mario Bros. 3 would be a Thwomp. I mean, if you want to name a stone living.
Then there is these lava bubbles again, and some roto discs. Again, do we count them? I mean, this time you at least can defeat them, so maybe.
The true last enemy before the final Bowser fight are these laser shooting Bowser statues. Soulless, but dangerous, and actually quite legendary. That legendary that they even got some appearances in the Mario Kart series later on. These statues right here? Yes, they originate from here. Super Mario Land. With Super Mario Land, I'm not quite sure what we get to call the final enemy of the game, because the boss fight does consist of two different enemies. The true final boss Tatanga and a creature that is hidden inside a cloud, Biokinson. Yes, that's actually all he is. He's not the cloud, but he's inside the cloud. Cool lore for a 15-second screen appearance, my man. But is he the first of two bosses, or the last enemy before the final boss? The last enemy before this fight would be these fists that are coming out of the pipes right here. You might ask me about the real name of them. Well, wait a second. Well, it's pipe fists. Legends. Super Mario World. In a million years I would have never guessed the last enemy of Super Mario World if someone would have asked me. If you take the back entrance to the castle only consists of two types of enemies. Mecha Koopas and Ninjas. And one of these friendly fellas is trying to stop us from getting to Bowser. I'm sorry, Ninja. I ain't here to play no games. Super Mario Land 2. This game probably has the weirdest last enemy of today's video. What is that? It's basically a circle with a mustache that somehow looks like Wario. How did they manage to make him look like Wario? Nintendo, big respect. Not much more to say about this enemy though, but legendary nonetheless. Yoshi's Island. I don't even want to talk about this. I don't necessarily like my guy, Kamek. Kamek's the last enemy before the final Bowser fight, and you can't even defeat him properly. I would have loved to see him getting eaten by Yoshi for dinner, but no. What a disappointment. Mario 64. Mario 64 is packed with new and creative enemies. I mean, look at them. So the final boss has to be an absolutely insane and creative... Yes, a Goomba. And actually, I don't mind. I think it's actually quite cool that the last enemy in the first 3D Mario game is a classic enemy like a Goomba. So GG Nintendo, well played. Mario Sunshine. For the first time in today's video, a water enemy is the last enemy of the game. Well, kinda. Lava Cheep Cheep is the last enemy that appears before the final fight against Bowser and his son. And the question is the Lava Cheep Cheep a good last enemy? Probably not, to be fair. The potential danger that radiates from our mans is like literally zero. They are small, slow and super easy to dodge. Their design is cool though, and I like that they look different to normal Cheep Cheeps, so A for effort I guess. New Super Mario Bros. Think of the most legendary Mario enemies from the DS era. And there you go. Dry Bones is absolutely legendary, especially on the DS. I mean, who of us did not pick him as our main in Mario Kart DS? So the DS era was a good era for our boy Dry Bones. The final castle basically just consists of either Dry Bones or Thwomps anyways, so it's not a big surprise to me personally. Dry Bones, I hope they're gonna show you some more love in the future again.
Well, and there's this one lava bubble again. But for the purpose of the video, I ain't gonna mention them from now on, unless they are an actual enemy and not a thing.
Mario Galaxy. Remember what we did to our boy Ninja earlier? Well, he's getting his revenge now. The last enemy before the Bowser fight is an aiming Bullet Bill, and he's quick. And there is this tiny 5-second fight against Bowser Jr. where he shoots some stuff at us, but I'm not sure if this is already kinda semi the boss fight, but I thought I'm still gonna mention it. New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Ooh, they actually did show him some more love. Dry Bones is back. And it's even more ridiculous that there's literally only one Dry Bones in the entire level. That sort of place, kinda like me next to actually good YouTubers. Don't get me wrong, it's not out of place in terms of that he's in the castle. But why is there only one? What is he gonna do?
There's actually two. Yes, your boy can't even count to two. I should have stayed in school.
Oh, and there's this one random Goomba during the boss fight, after anyone who actually should have died to him. And that could have probably happened to me. Mario Galaxy 2. Kamek. Not the last enemy, actually the second last, but I need to talk about this. Because this time we get to do this.
What a time to be alive.
Or not to be alive. The last enemies of the game are Marks, and they try to do the same thing to us that we did to Kamek. A little random for our last enemy, but definitely a nice change of pace. Mario 3D Land. One enemy. I'm not kidding. There's one enemy in the entire final level of Mario 3D Land. And as they say, third time's is a charm. Yep, it's a Dry Bones. Dry Bone. One. One on a random platform.
And yes, this time it's actually one. Great.
New Super Mario Bros. 2. The final enemy of New Super Mario Bros. 2 are the Koopalings. Which one, you might ask? Well, all of them. I'm glad they show up here because otherwise it would have been Dry Bones. What a surprise. The fight against the Koopalings is actually super creative. You need to hide behind these platforms right here, or else they will grill you like a roastery chicken. The fight actually reminds me of that wave level from Donkey Kong Country Returns, and that's a good thing, cause I love that game. New Super Mario Bros. U. It's a single Dry Bones. Okay, I'm actually kidding. The final level actually only consists of like 7 enemies and a couple hotheads. With the last enemy of the game being Bowser Jr. He also later appears in the actual final boss fight of the game, so he really gets his screen time up in this game. Mario 3D World. Captain Toad. Okay, that's a joke, but I bet at least one person in the whole world somehow managed to die to him.
No!
The actual final enemy? Well, there is 2 ways to look at it. If we count the first way, the enemy would be these bullies. Knock him down, easy. But the second way to see it, these cat Goombas right here. They appear during the final chase scene where we hunt Cat Bowser up the tower, and because of that I'm not sure if they are the last enemy or not. In Mario World, Bowser also uses enemies, in that case Mecha Koopas against us, and I didn't count them as the last enemy for that game because they basically are the boss. They only appear in the boss room during the actual boss fight though, but this right here is a fluent level, a fluent transition. I don't even know where the fight starts cause there is no fight, you just hit Bowser with a POW and that's it. The rest is a chase scene. So who do y'all think is the last enemy in this game? Let me know in the comments. Mario Odyssey. The last enemy would be this beautiful lady right here with her friendly golden retriever. And if we don't want to count that, because that's also kind of like a boss, it would be the Charging Chuck. For Odyssey, you could argue that the game is semi-open world, and because of that, you could defeat an enemy anywhere on the map before the final fight. If we look at the intended way of beating the game, these two options would be the case. Bowser's Fury. Let's talk about the cutest enemies of today's video. Kittens. They kind of remind me of my cat. Well, they are corrupted kittens. Still reminds me of my cat. So to me, almost no real enemy. Love them. Mario Wonder. The last few seconds of this game totally got out of hand. Singing doors and the singing King Boo. Lovely to see you here, my man. And he's actually the last enemy of the game. What a way to finish the video. It could have been Drybones, you know, but no, we got King Boo instead. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please consider to subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed my content. And until then, God bless y'all, stay healthy, bye.